Hello and welcome to another update video about BTC. Here we are on the daily time frame, and the price has barely moved yesterday, actually not at all really, and on the daily chart you don't really see any change. So, however, for anybody who's new on the channel, I mean, we take a look at the daily chart typically once per day. So it's important to understand where we are when we talk about the bigger picture. We've arrived at a key spot here. We've been at a key spot already for a while now, because the price has tested this 38.2 retracement, 50% retracement area between 75k and 82k now, and we're holding above it. But there hasn't really been a strong or decisive buy reaction to that support zone. So from that point of view, we still need to be ready potentially for another low. I did mention over the last few days that due to the price action earlier this week, one more low has become the most probable scenario. However, yesterday, and again, these are the signals we have to incorporate. Yesterday, for example, the Nasdaq, S&P, they sold off quite strongly. And I mean, I made a video about the Nasdaq on our Morecryptoonline channel. You'll find that channel linked in the description. Check it out if you don't know about this channel yet. But if the Nasdaq and the S&P are selling off strongly and Bitcoin isn't joining, I mean, that might tell us something, that maybe things are changing a little bit. Okay, Bitcoin has been holding up quite well, which overall is still in line here with the daily chart. It's holding support, so it's not necessarily a surprise, but it still is a signal, because it means that, hey, maybe the downside isn't going to be that substantial. Maybe we don't see that one more low, or it's at least something to watch, right? As I said, we have to take it level by level. I would still expect a little bit further downside on the Bitcoin chart, but we'll take a look at the smaller time frame, because overall, and that's more important, I think, overall I think we are very close to a low. And overall, we should still see a rally into that resistance area. I mean, I mentioned it like a few weeks ago on X, but also here in the videos. I'm watching for a bounce into the area 90.9k plus, so this resistance area. And that might have started, just haven't completed it, yeah? So it's still something that I'd like to see, that bounce into resistance either from here or after one more low. So that's my view. If we get another low, it should really find support here in this region between 75k and 69k. This would be the next support area. But has this move down started? Well, we have to watch the smaller time frame for that. And it's important to understand that should we get a rally into resistance, which again I'm expecting either from here or after one more low, then we have to pay very close attention to the structure on the micro level when we get there. And we have to pay close attention to the structure of any decline. Because if we see any impulsive declines, it's a big warning that a much larger correction could be unfolding in a large A, B, C structure. Yeah. In the white scenario, we could say that this here is a wave 4 correction, and we are now in the 5th wave, could also start after one more low, and we do this, A, B, C. So if pullbacks remain corrective, hold higher lows, which means they are corrective in the sense of they form only 3 waves down, then this could be a setup for higher prices. And then we are watching for the next 5 waves up, and we move up like that. So it is important to understand all of that. We have to take it level by level. We're not in a phase of the market anymore like, in 2023, where it was easy to be bullish. We have reached my, long-term targets for Bitcoin here for this cycle. But as I said, one more high would still be ideal. Let's take a look at the smaller time frame for BTC. And the Bitcoin chart is, squeezed between micro support and micro resistance. So these levels have been respected quite nicely. The quick reminder, the idea is that in the white count, a larger degree 4th wave could have bottomed already. That's still valid. That was here on the 11th of March. We've seen a rally in 3 waves in what could be wave A. Then this move down here could be wave B, more like a sideways consolidation correction. And the communication was, as long as we're holding 79,189, the white count is technically possible. Could send us higher into that mid 90k region, but it's not expected until we break above 86,968. So that would be the trigger where I say, okay, it becomes more likely that we're going to take the direct path into that resistance area I showed you on the daily chart. Yeah. This is absolutely possible, this scenario. Okay, it's something to consider. We've hit support. We've seen reactions to support. We just haven't seen the upside follow through yet. And this here was a local failure of the bulls. And then the bears have driven the price down in 5 waves. But can they follow through? And that's where, that commentary about the Nasdaq and so on comes into play. Apologies, because we haven't seen that follow through yesterday. That ideally should have happened had Bitcoin followed the Nasdaq. So it's that third wave down that hasn't happened. For most tech stocks, I'm watching for another 4-5 pattern, but Bitcoin isn't here, like the Nasdaq would be. Bitcoin is here. So question is, if Bitcoin is to follow that pathway down, sooner or later we should see this, then this, then this. But maybe it's going to skip this. I'm not sure. Just an observation. We're holding support. We're holding resistance. Any break below the lows of this week at around 81,160 should confirm further that we're heading down in the third wave, possibly to the mid 70k region. But there is no sign that this third wave to the downside has started. I'm talking about the internal third wave, okay? So that's just something to keep in mind. So that level needs to break out of the local range to the downside. Then 79,190 needs to break. But I'd say if we now break below the previous lows of this week, it seems very likely the third wave down has started. At the same time, wave 2 here to the upside could still be extending. The corrective bounce in the yellow scenario. And because this looks like it's still extending, but the 86,968 level shouldn't be broken in this scenario. It looks to me as if it might still want to go a little higher here into resistance, and any break, as I said, above resistance would be let's say, at least an indication that the white scenario might take the lead, but that would require proving. Okay, so parameters are clearly defined for the weekend. It might be a bit of a consolidation weekend. I'll keep you updated. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.